welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming with the latest palette from Dominique Cosmetics. So if you guys want to see an eye look, here are some of my first impressions, then just keep watching. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is KARENHARRIS. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on YouTube. I also have really dry skin. I thought I would mention that because I haven't in a while. So if you are always looking for reviews from somebody with very dry skin, I also live in a very cold place. So I'm always looking for things that are going to make me look hydrated, make my skin feel nice and plump. All of the things, this is the place for you. I love to review new eyeshadow palettes. So if you aren't subscribed already, I would highly recommend doing so. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you are notified every time I post. And without further blabbering, let's get into it. So the reason you guys all probably clicked on this video is because this is a newer palette. This is from Dominique Cosmetics and it's called the Moment palette. And honestly, this box packaging is so pretty. If you don't know, green is my favorite color, and this is like a really pretty blue-green packaging. It's definitely giving me summer vibes, and I was just curious about this palette because I've actually bought a lot of Dominique Cosmetics palettes in the past, and as much as I wanted to love them, I really didn't. So when I saw that she'd updated her packaging a little bit, and this was kind of an interesting color story, plus I swear last week there was a little bit of a lull in the makeup releases, so I was a little bit bored when I bought this palette, and now they've announced like 8 collections that I'm like, oh my gosh, I literally had to make a list on my phone of all the new eyeshadow palettes I want. But anyway, I decided to pick this up because I hadn't tried a palette from her in a while. Now this is a 12-month shelf life, 10 eyeshadows, 1.53 grams, and this palette is made in the US. And it's assembled in the Dominican Republic, just so you guys know. And then all the ingredients are on the back here. This packaging is so pretty. It says, letting go is the key to happiness. It says that on the inside of the box. Very, very cute. This packaging, I am dying. How pretty is that? So Dominique Cosmetics used to be sold at Sephora. I don't think they're in Sephora anymore, but this is what the palette looks like. It's definitely very grungy. It's not that like bright poppy turquoisey palette, so that's a plus. There's 2 blue shimmer shades in here, and the rest of the shades look like neutral shades. I'm not the biggest fan of when brands do a neutral palette and then they just add 2 shimmery blues. Like, I don't think that makes the most sense, but it's like a weird trend thing. Like, I feel like there are so many palettes that are like this. Anyway, I was curious because the metallics looked very buttery, so I was contemplating just inserting swatches, but since there's only 10 shades, I think I might swatch these because I'm super curious. It says letting go is the key to happiness on the inside here as well of the mirror, but these metallics look so interesting that I'm like dying to swatch this palette. So let's just do that really quickly. Okay, that turquoise is pretty. Okay, so here are all the swatches of the 10 shades. We have Stepping Out. We have Mesmerized, which is a really pretty duochrome. We've got Life of the Party, Dinero, La Noche. We've got Elevated, Essential, which is a matte mid-tone brown. We've got Embrace, which is like a brow bone shade. We've got After Hours and Midnight Haze. Midnight Haze definitely felt like the grittiest of the shadows, but the metallics are very nice. They're very smooth. They seem like they would foil very nicely, but I can't tell you this until I actually put it on my eyes. So let's get to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we can do with this palette. I might end up just doing like a neutral look. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to grab this What's Up Beauty brush. This is the R104, and I'm going to go into the shade Essential, which is a pretty like mid-tone brown shade. And this is a big fluffy brush, so I'm just going to blend that into my crease. So the reason I decided to try this palette is because, like I said in the intro, I've bought a lot of Dominique Cosmetics palettes in the past, and as much as I want to love the brand and love the eyeshadows, they just weren't it for me. So I decided to try it out because they did their packaging upgrade, so I figured maybe the eyeshadows got a bit of an upgrade too. I mean, obviously I don't know this to be a fact. I just assumed because of the packaging being different. This one does remind me a lot of their Latte 2 palette because it had kind of those neutrals with like that blue shade. But it also kind of reminds me of the first Latte palette because that palette also had a blue shade in it. But that one had like more purples as well as just the neutral shade. So she definitely seems like that neutral slash a little bit of color kind of brand owner. Now I'm going to go into the shade Elevated, and I'm just going to put that on the outer corner. That's a pretty color. Okay, I didn't think that would be that significant of a shade difference because they don't look that much different next to each other, but that is adding a bit of depth to the eye look. I've got a very chatty Miss Freya with me. We actually built her like a little play area in our basement, which is where I film, but she seems to be much happier when she's in here with me. Like, I thought she'd be so happy to have the space and, you know, start like stretching out and like starting up to crawl. I feel like she's moving somehow, and like, listen, I'm a first-time mom, so I'm not really that, you know, up to speed on what babies do, but I'll like put her in one spot and then I'll go out there and she's in a completely different spot. So I'm like, are you messing with me? Like, are you crawling secretly and just not telling me? Like, what's up with that? I'd love to hear. Anyway, sorry, she's like chitty-chatting away over there. Just a little bit of fallout with the mats, but that dusted off well. Now I'm gonna try the shade La Noche, which is a black metallic. I just want to see if it does anything for the outer corner, so I'm just sticking to the same brush and just throwing a little bit of it in the outer crease. Okay, that's pretty. And for the lid shade, I'm going to use the shade Mesmerize because that's a really pretty duochrome. It's like MAC Blue Brown, so I am curious to try it out. Okay, so Mesmerized on its own kind of looked like it was a sheer shade with a ton of sparkle. So I went into Dinero, which is the pretty gold, and I'm actually going to use that on the lid first and then go in with Mesmerized so that Dinero can kind of be a base. So I'm going to go in with the Melt Slick Waterline Eye Pencil. This is in the shade Olive. I would say of all of the shades in this eyeliner launch, this shade Olive is definitely the most unique. So if you're thinking of picking up one of these during the Sephora sale, I would say go for Olive. And then I'm just taking a little pencil brush. I'm going to go into the shade Essential. And I'm just going to run that on the lower lash line. And I'm going to take Mesmerized and just put that in the inner corner a little bit because it's such a pretty little duochrome. And we love a good pop in the inner corner. Okay, I'm just taking a flat brush going into the shade Embrace, which is the light, like matte white, off-white cream kind of shade. I'm just gonna tuck that into the brow bone just to give it a little bit of a highlighted effect. But honestly, I hardly ever do like a special brow bone shade ever. But since this one is so obviously a brow bone shade to me, in my humble opinion, I decided to put it there. But anyways, the look is done. I'm going to go ahead and throw on some mascara, pick a lip color, put on some earrings, and I'll be right back to show you guys the finished look and break down some of my thoughts on this palette for you. Okay, friends, so here is the finished look. In case you're wondering why my hair looks extra fabulous, I did kind of cheat a little bit because I had a haircut today. Slight trim and a little bit more of my layers and all that good stuff. And so my stylist curled my hair, which made me feel like $1,000,000. So I'm so glad that this palette showed up so I could film today. But anyway, let me tell you what else is on my face today. So I had a real hankering to go look for those new Flower Beauty highlighter ones. And it said it was in stock at my CVS, but it wasn't. It was false information. So didn't end up getting those, but I did grab this guy from Flower Beauty. This is the Supernova Celestial Priming Whip Base. and I was curious to try this. It was sold out on the Flower Beauty website, so I did use it today. It's definitely a foam. It has like a shimmer to it, and it looked really pretty on the skin. I don't know if it was adding any hydration to my skin. It definitely gave it like that glow, but it definitely dried down as well. So it didn't feel hydrated. It felt more glowy. And I think I kind of took away all the glow by using this foundation, but I pulled this back out just for funsies. This is the Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup. This is so like full coverage feeling on my face. I think I've gotten so used to the more like skin tint type products that a lot of my favorite like full coverage foundations, I'm not as much in love with these as I used to be. So I just thought I'd mention that. Still a really great foundation though, and if you have oily skin, I feel like you're gonna really like this one. LYS Concealer, Physicians Formula Bronzer, Bridgerton Highlighter, Profusion Blush. Just the same old usual culprits. And then I finally grabbed my MAC Fix Plus back out because I had it packed away for something and I was missing it terribly. I was using this Morphe Continuous Setting Mist and it wasn't as good. And so I was like, dang, why did I buy this? It was 22 bucks and I got it on sale on the Morphe website. And I just remember everybody hyping this up, and I actually have another can in my setting spray drawer, but sometimes when I'm filming, I don't want to get up. And so I just grabbed this brand new one because it was in my like haul bin. And yeah, I don't think this is as good as like I remember everybody saying it was, you know? And then I grabbed this CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara. I feel like I remember Tara Babies saying this was like her favorite, or maybe it was somebody else. I don't know. I was watching YouTube and somebody was talking about how much they love this mascara, and I grabbed it because I'm like on the hunt for a good mascara from the drugstore. And I feel like this was just okay. It's like nothing to write home about. It's okay. Like it's a mascara. It does what a mascara is supposed to do, but it's not giving me like any volume or any extra length or anything like that. It's fine. It's not my favorite. Okay, so that's kind of everything that's on my face. Now let's talk about this eyeshadow palette from Dominique Cosmetics. So I did grab the palettes I wanted to compare this one to. The first thing I thought of when I saw this palette was the Urban Decay Wild West palette, and I feel like this was actually a decent palette from them. You know, they've been kind of hit or miss in the last few years, so I feel like the Wild West palette was one of the good ones, and I just felt like these were very similar. So if you have the Wild West, I feel like you probably don't need both, or maybe you do, but I just wanted to show you a side by side. And then I also grabbed this palette. This is the Cash Beauty Crystal Nights palette, and I've never used this palette. Like I bought it and I haven't used it yet, so this is what this one looks like. And I feel like the neutrals and the pop of blue, it definitely has a very similar vibe. So I'm just trying to give you ideas of palettes you might already own that you can use instead of buying this palette. And then the other one I thought that has obviously a little more options is this one from ZZ Cosmetics. They did send this one to me, but it does have a metallic blue. It's got a bunch of neutral shades. It's very similar. It actually has a few more eyeshadows as well than compared to the Dominique. So maybe try and see if you can find a dupe in your collection, because spoiler alert, this palette is just okay. It's not horrible. It's not the best palette. Like, I mean, listen, there's good neutral palettes where I'll try it and I'm like, this neutral palette is everything. But for the price, like I think I ended up paying like almost $60 for this with shipping, and I just thought it was okay. Like, it's beautiful. The packaging is beautiful. It kind of reminds me of Huda's packaging, the plastic with the like acrylic around the edges, and it's very nice. It looks very nice. It looks like you're gonna take me to like a tropical vacation with this palette, but I'm not crazy about it. So I will definitely try this out more and keep you guys posted in my March eyeshadow palette ranking video. But yeah, overall, I'm not blown away, and I feel like that's all I got for you guys. Like, it's okay, but I would say save your money because there's some really good launches coming our way for the month of April. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Let me know your thoughts on this palette. Is it one that you were wanting to pick up and try out for yourself? You guys know I love chatting to you down in my comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in a new video very, very soon. Bye guys!